Great, thank you. And welcome. I'm so excited. I've never been to this Google office, and this is totally cool. It's nice to see everyone here today, and a nice crowd, packed house. Congratulations, women Techmakers. Appreciate that. So I'm going to go down and start with Saron. What we'll do is just introduce yourselves, what you're doing right now, and then we'll get started with a few questions.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Saron. So I have two jobs. Here I'm representing Code Newbie. I'm the founder. We are the most supportive community of programmers and people learning to code. We have a weekly Twitter chat. I'm the host of a weekly podcast called the Code Newbie Podcast, which you should all subscribe to. And then in my day job, I actually work at Microsoft. I'm a program manager for a new technical training program called Tech Jobs Academy, where we offer 4 months of free education in technical skills for unemployed and underemployed New Yorkers. And applications are open, so if you know anyone, let them know. They go to techjobsacademy.com.
Shanna?
Okay. Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Shanna. I am the Dean of Grace Hopper Academy, which is in the middle of the first class. Those of you who are familiar with web development programs, it's an immersive 13-week program here in New York City. It's the only program in New York that's for women, and our tuition model is that the women will pay once they get jobs. So trying to create the opportunity for those who are financially restricted from things like this. Very excited to be here. I have a background in working in coding boot camps, and some of my students from Full Stack Academy are here. Very excited to see them here now that they're kind of flourishing as female developers. So, yeah.
Rebecca?
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Rebecca Garcia. I am the co-founder of a nonprofit called CoderDojo NYC, and it's part of a global movement of free coding clubs for youth, where we do one-on-one mentorship in like a mini hackathon-style workshops once a month for web, game, and app development. And we also have girls programs and longer-term programs for advanced iOS, Android, app development, JavaScript, things like that, which are all free. And my day job is I am the technical head of product at a data API company called Nextcaller.
And not least, but Christina.
Do I need a microphone? Oh. Yeah. I can speak up. So hi, everyone. My name is Christina Morillo. I'm also on Twitter as @DivineTechieGirl. I know a few of you have said hello to me this morning, so I'm happy to be here. I'm one of the co-founders of Women of Color in Tech Chat. So we're pretty much a supportive community of women and non-binary people in the tech industry. And we're also the creators of the Women of Color in Tech Chat stock photos. So if you want diverse stock photos, you can just search Women of Color in Tech Chat and you will see our stock photos. They're also on Flickr. During the day, I'm actually a vice president of technology and information risk at Morgan Stanley, but don't tell them I told you. So they're very strict. So anyway, but I wanted to be here. So which pretty much means I'm part of the information security team. So I'm more of a information sec data security engineer. So, and I'm very happy to be here. Oh, and I also have 3 kids, so I feel your pain, girl.
And I am Rose Robinson again with the Anita Borg Institute. I manage all of our communities. That includes Sisters, our ABI.local, our Grace Hopper conference, as well as our open source communities, which I'll talk about a little bit later. It's really great that Heather talked about the last piece of the white elephant opportunities, because that's actually what this panel is about. It's actually women creating opportunities in tech, and we'll hear about some of the opportunities that they've mentioned already, but let's get started with maybe just creating opportunities for yourself in your career. Saron, do you want to start us off?
Am I going to go first on every question?
Yeah.
That's fine. That's what I get for being on this side. So creating opportunities for myself. I think the biggest thing has been to always raise my hand when opportunities, arise. I've seen, so a great example of that is, are you all familiar with RailsConf? Show of hands. So it's really big. I think one of the biggest conferences for Rails developers, and I'm a Rails developer by trade, And I saw this conference, and I heard from a friend that she was organizing a different conference called RubyConf, and I thought, man, that's really cool. I didn't think that that was a thing that you could do. And so I just, cold emailed one of the organizers, and I said, hey, I'd love to be a part of this. Any help you need, I would love to be, a part of this organization. And this current RailsConf, they invited me to be on the programming committee. So I got to review all the talks and make recommendations, and I'm running 2 of the tracks. And so for me, creating opportunities has been about seeing what other people are doing, men or women, right? And seeing great opportunities and really great things going on, and raising my hand and saying, I'd really like to be a part of that, and not waiting to be asked, and not waiting for an invitation.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's really great. I think for me, it's finding one thing that I can convince myself I'm very good at. So starting out, I come from creative writing and literature background. The one thing I thought I was good at coming out of college was writing emails. So I found the job that I could write the best emails, and that kind of snowballed from there. I ended up helping people write resumes and creating their own stories and narratives for becoming developers specifically. I became very good at helping people find a job, and that is something that wins you a lot of favors, and people are very, very excited when you're helping them prepare for interviews and all of that. And just taking one thing and becoming good at it, and just allowing that to turn into more and more and bigger, and taking on more responsibilities, and allowing yourself to attract more skills and build that up. It just has to start with one very small thing. If you're very good at writing emails, you can go from there, email as many people as you want to, make it as creative as you'd like to, and then kind of allow yourself to accept whatever opportunities are coming your way.
And Rebecca?
So I'm a really big believer in personal branding and sharing what you're passionate about, and so that doesn't necessarily mean being I have to share every single thing that I eat on Twitter. That's what everybody wants to hear about. I think it's a matter of your unique blend of what you care about, and so I talk a lot about mindfulness and technology and yoga, and this mix of my own personality, and I've kind of let that blend into other opportunities. So I blog, I'm also on Twitter at Geek Girl Web, and it's opened so many doors for me. Twitter by itself has, I've gotten a roommate from Twitter. I've gotten speaking opportunities to go abroad from Twitter, from people that I've met. That's, I believe, how we met originally as well. Did we also meet off Twitter? We also met off Twitter. So I'm a huge believer in putting yourself out there, and also finding those opportunities for yourself, and really being able to create yourself and create those opportunities through putting yourself out there. And it can be really scary, because by default, I'm an introvert, and now I do a lot of public speaking. And I think it's brought me a lot of joy to share my stories with other people, and hopefully then in turn inspire other people.
Thank you. Yeah, we did meet on Twitter. Yeah. So I forgot to mention one thing. I'm also the community manager for Code Newbie. So I work with Saron.
She's amazing.
In boosting the brand. And that was a white elephant opportunity. Because when she asked me, I was like, why?
I had no idea she felt this way.
Meaning, why me? But anyway, so I'm a big believer in community. Very big believer in community. I feel like we need each other. We need to support each other. And, when Heather mentioned, giving opportunities to other people, being a connector, I'm very big on that. That's just capital me, connector, right? But another thing I'm big on is taking action, right? So taking things into your own hands. If you see a problem that you think you may be able to contribute to it. Don't wait for anyone's validation, or don't wait for anyone to give you the okay or the go-ahead. There's a problem, try to fix it, contribute. That's it. That's an opportunity, right? So just a quick example, when I was building the website for Women of Color in Tech Chat, I didn't see any stock images of people that look like me. And I've been in the tech industry for over 17 years. And I didn't feel like taking a selfie that night because my hair was a mess. So anyway, I decided, out of anger, right? I said, I started tweeting I wish I could just hire a photographer and get some women of color in technology and take some photos. And then I said, wait, I could hire a photographer and get some women in technology and take some photos. And so one of the things for me is that anger activates. So usually if there's if there's a problem that makes you angry, by you activating it and just realizing it, you can take action on it. So I say that's one way to create opportunities. And also by being present and listening, become a good listener, because a lot of times when you listen to people instead of like talking so much about what you think or you feel, which is also important, but if you listen to other people, you will hear what opportunities they may have that they don't even know, right? So someone like, Shanna could be listening to me complain about I need a new job and I need to update my resume. She could say, well, hey, I'm really good at updating resumes, and she's just created an opportunity for herself. So just kind of working together, and that's the best part of community, right?
Yeah. So I can add to that as well, and I have a similar story as Heather as well, because I was in a career and had 2 kids and really wasn't planning for 2 kids, but all through school, I was the only woman in my class. I majored in math and computer science, and particularly in grad school, I was also the only person of color. So to have those 2, gender and race, to challenge, it was pretty hard. And what I did is really how I created opportunities for myself is to give myself a voice and just make sure that I am heard, that my issues matter to everyone. And so that was really important for me in creating opportunities for myself, but also to others. Sometimes when you're out there speaking on Twitter, you're giving others permission, and not only permission, but letting people know that it's okay, that you're not alone. That's one of our communities at Anita Borg Institute. It's really the flagship that started the Institute with Sisters. And Sisters is really just supporting women in technology across the globe, similar to what Women Techmakers is doing right now as well. So we really partner really well together. So let's talk about some of the opportunities that you are involved in that create opportunities for other women in tech. And I'm not going to start with you. I'm going to start with Christina this time. Christina?
Okay. This is the last time I'll talk about the photos, but they're very important, right? Because representation matters, right? And now our photos are like on TechCrunch, and the reason why I'm bringing them up is because of the fact that that I know of, confirmed, one of the women that was featured actually got a job. She got hired by GitHub. And the reason was because a gentleman, she was at a conference, and she's actually in the room, but I'm not going to shout her out. So she, I believe the story goes that she was at a conference and someone recognized her, and they started, he was like, were you in the photos? And she said yes or something, and they sparked up a conversation, and they started talking. And if you find her, you can talk to her about it some more. But when she told me that, I was really taken aback, because I just thought I was solving a problem for myself, and I had no idea that it could span across different people and different. So it was not only about the photos, it was about so much more, right? So yeah, I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and this is the last time we'll talk about the photos. Not really.
I'll try.
No, but your photos actually gave the industry, right, an into, okay, well, this is important, so we need to make sure that we have representation across the board. And now you see your photos on TechCrunch and Huffington Post, all of the online. So you got to give it up for women of color in tech. I mean, that's exactly what voices do, and we appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay.
Absolutely.
I'll just say there's a brand new batch coming out this month. So stay tuned. That's it.
Rebecca?
Awesome. How come I didn't get that deal out of being in the photos? I didn't get a job out of it.
But you were on TechCrunch and a lot of other sites, right?
Oh, I guess so. We'll see.
It's your brand.
I'm teasing. Yeah, so I think through CoderDojo NYC, I feel in a similar way of seeing a need and wanting to help others. I actually co-founded CoderDojo NYC because when I was younger, I had the opportunity to go to a computer camp, and my sister sponsored me to go, and I slept on her couch the whole summer in what I call indentured servitude of babysitting, because I babysat, and she sponsored me to go to a computer camp at MIT. And I later went to that program. I went and I returned to teach at that program. And when I came to New York, there weren't any programs like that that were accessible to families. The program I had gone to was $1,000 a week, not including food or accommodations, and is still very expensive. And it's a really fantastic program, but it was inaccessible. And I heard about CoderDojo, and I tweeted at them, and I said, hey, is there a chapter in New York? I would love to help out. And they're like, no, but you can start one. Found my other co-founder on Twitter. So we met up for coffee, decided that we weren't serial killers, and then we co-founded CoderDojo NYC, and it's been this amazing opportunity to bring technology education that's co-ed to both boys and girls. And to me, diversity isn't just I think it's really important to get more women and to get more minorities in technology, but to me, like, the answer to diversity is having everyone together in the same room, where it becomes normal to have everyone together. And so not only providing opportunities to youth, but also the chance to mentor. So having more women mentor, and we're really proud of our naturally occurring 50-50 gender ratio and ethnic diversity at our programs. And so that for me has been the best way to give back. So.
Yeah. I would echo a lot of what everyone is saying about community. When I came to New York for a job from the Bay Area, I had no network and no community and a very, very small handful of friends. So I started going to meetups and meeting with specifically women who code NYC. I'm trying to find the person who said that, so I'm like, oh, hey. But yeah, that really gave me insight into how many women in New York City are in technology, or the small sample size that we had there. There are now over 5,000 members in our chapter, which is very exciting. But the ones who are learning how to code, what their problems are, what are you encountering, what is stopping you from participating in education programs, or what is stopping you from teaching yourself? Is it mentorship? Is it financial? Is it all of the above? Is it a representation in technology that you don't see yourself in Silicon Valley, the show? So that's stopping you from thinking that is a viable route for you to take. So really collecting all of that information from people and having conversations and getting to meet so many amazing women who really need the opportunity presented to them, and encouragement and help and mentorship and all of that really inspired the creation of Grace Hopper Academy. It wasn't that we were hoping to take the female students that we had at Full Stack Academy and put them in our own experimental program. It's still a co-ed program, but it's being able to give the same level of education, the same opportunities to women who otherwise were being held back from participating.
Saron?
So at Code Newbie, we don't have a diversity goal. We have a mission of inclusion. And so for me, my goal has never been to be in a room full of people who look like me. My goal has always been to be in a room full of people who look so different that what I look like doesn't matter, right? So that it's my ideas and my skills that are the most important thing. And so with Code Newbie, I feel very, very privileged to have the opportunity to pick the people that I work with and to pick the voices that I get to amplify. And so, we have a weekly podcast. We've done 77 episodes, and every single time I pick a guest, I'm thinking about, okay, by picking this person, what message am I sending? And I think that when a lot of people pick their leadership teams and pick their speaker panels and, pick the people they really put up on a pedestal, I don't think they are always aware that they're sending a message, right? If you have a leadership team and it's all white guys, you're sending a message. You may not mean to, you may not want to, but you are. And it's all those little messages that tell a story of who should be here. And so when I get to pick who my guests are and I get to pick whose stories to tell, I'm thinking, okay, if I have gender balance, I'm sending a positive message of who gets to be here. If I'm picking more international people, which I'm making a huge effort to, I'm sending a message of who gets to be here. And so it's about me being very purposeful with who I pick for my community manager, who I pick for my team leads, who I pick on the show, and being mindful that every time I pick someone, I'm contributing to the story and making sure that the story is incredibly inclusive.
Thank you. That's awesome. So in the opportunities that you are working in right now, how can you share some of those stories of, the opportunities that for women in tech particularly? how have they impacted those particular women? And is that on a global scale? Is that on a local scale? Or more in tech, or more, training, or, do you want to? Yeah, I'm actually going to start with Rebecca this time. So.
Alrighty. So, two quick stories that I want to share from some of the girls who come out of our programs. And so, the idea behind CoderDojo NYC, I think, is creativity, collaboration, and just being through code, being able to do that through code and whatever excited you when you were younger. And our goal isn't to make, the next big tech star or whoever. It's more of, if we can instill that like excitement of learning in you, then, that's great. And then, or if you ended up not liking programming, now you know before you get to college what you didn't like. And so I had that experience. I thought that I wanted to make video games when I was younger, and then I actually tried to do it, and I was like, oh, this is really hard. I don't want to do that. And that's what I did at the summer program at MIT that I went to when I was younger. And one of our girls, one of the first girls who joined us, she was with us for a few months, and her parents eventually approached us, and she started to get more and more interested and started doing HTML and CSS, and her parents came up to us and said, thanks so much for doing this. She actually, she has like ADD. This is actually really hard for her to like really pay attention and find something that she's interested and passionate about. So this is really great. And so we built a relationship with the parents, and she kept, coming back to our programs and wanting to learn more. But I think the real success is actually when she stopped coming to our programs, and we reached out to her parents, and we're like, hey, we miss you. Our next workshop is on this date. Are you guys coming? And each time we would get a different excuse. And so it would be, oh, we're so sorry. She can't make it because she's entering her first robot in the science fair. Or the next one we got was, oh, well, actually, she's going to space camp this summer. And so the fact that we were able to like spark something in her that like maybe she's not going to be a programmer, but she found something that she's passionate about. And our next girl, who also it sparked something within her as well. She went through one of our programs, and she's been doing iOS app development. She was 12 when she wrote our iOS app curriculum, and she last year was the youngest recipient of a WWDC scholarship, the Apple Developers Conference. She had to have her parents write in because she didn't meet the minimum age requirement of 13. And so there's videos of her with Tim Cook showing, and she's really deadpan, so it's really funny to see her being like, yeah, this is my app. And he's like, wow, this is amazing. And you're like, oh, okay, Kira, so those to me are like the success stories, and being able to mentor those girls and have that experience that I didn't have when I was younger really is what makes me do what I do on the weekends. I actually, after this, I have to go run our girls program. So that's why I do what I do.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm so jealous that you get to work with kids, because like I work with adults, and I love the adults, and I think that it's like a very important message to send to children. Like you can do this. You can build your iOS app. You can figure out if you like making video games or not. And that's really, really powerful. But I think what I really enjoy working with adults is working with people who are changing careers so radically. Some of them are coming from design or electrical engineering or architecture and things that are not quite so different. But I also have a ceramicist, and I have someone who curated art museums and things like that who are who've always been interested or figured out that they were interested in programming a little bit too late. Too late meaning in traditional education, you need to make that decision when you're about 18 to follow the right track for your 4-year education. But people who are being able to come back into our wonderful fold that we have, coming back and learning these skills at a very different age. You don't need to be 18 to pick up the skills. You can be 45, and you can have already had a career, you could, have children and still be able to learn these skills. And I think building a community that is inclusive, but also especially like age diversity is pretty important in tech and something that is lacking. But it's great that we can like range through teaching children and encouraging children, especially young girls, and then also kind of carry that through and let people know it's not, too late for them to join.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in here if you don't mind. So I had a conversation probably about a month ago with a friend of mine. She's probably in her 30s, and she says, Rose, you can't leave. You can't leave tech because you're getting too old. And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, because, you're just getting too old, and there's not a lot of opportunities for you. I was like, well, I'm just really getting started. I have a lot of plans. I have great experience that under my belt. Thank you. And I think my path is leading me to something a lot bigger than I don't know right now. But I certainly applaud that as well, because I'm certainly not done, and I learn a lot. You all can learn a lot from me. But one of the things also we, as Anita Borg Institute, I know that it was mentioned earlier, our time to lead, that really is very strong and powerful as well. So we have the Grace Hopper celebration for women in computing every year. But what happens is that, okay, this 3-day conference, what's now? What happens now, So now we launched 5 cities of ABI.local cities, which is really trying to bring and add to all of these other wonderful groups and bringing them together and helping our own community. So I live in Washington, D.C., but that is really very Washington, D.C. centric. And so there's a lot of great communities, and I guess the makeup of each is so different. Like the New York, I attended an ABI.New York event as well, and it was just phenomenal. But DC, because we're in the nation's capital, there's a lot of policy work, and so I get to learn more about the policy and the technology. So that's more where our programs really help women to create opportunities in their local communities, because you don't really hear about the women that are in your local communities that are contributing on a very regular basis. So making sure that story is told at a local level is what we do as well. So just wanted to put that in there. Saron, did you? Mm-hmm.
Just to make sure I understand, the question is, how has our work impacted women in tech, right? Okay. So for me, it's on 2 levels. So for myself personally, one of the things that I try to do is be very aware of who I connect and who I recommend compared to who other people are trying to recommend. So for example, when I'm on the programming committee and we're trying to pick keynotes, right? And I see who other people are picking, and they all kind of they all look alike. And so I go, okay, well, I need to go the other direction. And so I go out of my way to find and make sure to get really high quality people who are different. Again, going back to this idea of showing inclusion and making sure that all voices are heard. So that applies to speaker panels, that applies to making job introductions, that applies to retweets. I mean, really any way that I can amplify and connect someone, I try to do that. And for Code Newbie specifically, one of the biggest joys that I get is when I get emails from people who say, I know Code Newbie isn't a diversity thing, but your lineup is really diverse. And it's just really great to get to see people from my country and who speak my language and who look like me, and I've just never seen that before. And so for me, that's just the biggest win, because we don't push that. We don't push the whole, look at us, we're speaking to women, like we don't do that. But to know that by being very consistent and being very inclusive and welcoming, that people are still receiving that message and people feel validated and people feel like they have a place at the table, that is one of the biggest rewards we can get.
Yeah, thank you. And Christina?
Do I have to answer this question?
Yeah. I think we still have time.
So I'm not a metrics-based person. I don't like metrics. For me personally, they make me feel limited, and I don't like to walk around like, oh yeah, so I'm impacting everybody and everybody loves me and I'm the bomb. No. Like when it comes to that, I'm very humble. So I I normally walk around, like my days, I don't feel like I'm changing anybody's lives. I'm just trying to, create a better life for myself and my children and my family. And, I get reminders that I'm impacting when people come up to me at different events and are like, oh, hey, you're Christina. It's so great to meet you. And I'm like, yeah, hi. But they make me feel like really good. Like, oh my God, like you're like a superstar. And I'm like, I'm just me. And when they tell me their stories, like, because of you, I changed careers, or because of you, I also have 2 kids, or I'm a single mom, and I know that I can do this. Like, those are my metrics. Like, so I don't have accounts. But I'm really just passionate about people's stories and listening to people's stories, and just kind of, whether it's on Twitter or in person, or knowing that I may be contributing to someone's self-esteem, but on the other end of the spectrum, they're helping me as well. So it's almost like a mutual thing. Yeah.
When you're helping, when you're giving other opportunities to other people, you're actually helping yourself as well. So we're going to do a Q&A session, and I encourage you all to say, hey, yes, come up. So we have 2 mics here and on the other side here. So if you want to come up and ask any of us any questions that you want, please feel free. We have about 5 minutes for the Q&A, maybe 2 or 3, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Oh, cool. Very cool. Okay, go ahead.
Hi.
Give us your name and
Okay, I'm Maya. I'm a business intelligence developer looking for opportunities.
Good for you. That's right.
My question is, I was sitting here for the last hour, and I'm like so much inspired by you, but there are only 24 hours in a day. How do you do that? Like some people with 5 kids. I have 1 child. How do you find the time to be engaged in all of the nonprofit activities and inspiring others, and then do your day job, and not to mention the house and the family?
So I'll take that one too. Very little sleep. No, I'm just kidding. But this is what Heather mentioned earlier, find your passion, right? I had a great opportunities. It was lots of challenges due to the gender factor and the race factor. But I have an African-American daughter who's majoring in computer science, and an African-American male who's son who's majoring in economics. I don't want them to have to go through what I went through. I mean, this is 2016. We should be so further along than where we are right now. But I have, thank you, I'm sure that everyone's here is sharing that as well. We have to do something, and this is my passion. I want my kids, and now my niece has 2 kids also. What are we going to do? Just leave it up to their generations as well? It's something we have to do as a whole, as a group, as women, as minorities.
Help each other.
Yeah, we have to help each other.
Yeah.
Can I just take this as well? So that's a really great question, because people are always talking about balance, and I don't believe in balance. That's a lie. Balance is a myth.
That's a
okay?
myth.
Unless you're balancing like something on your head, it's a lie. So like, for me, it's really about like purpose. So like, to be really honest in this room, and do not tweet this because I will deny it. Okay? Like, my day job doesn't give me purpose, but my evening activities give me purpose, right? Like being a part of the Code Newbie community, being a part of the Women of Color in Tech Chat community, working on all of these initiatives, chatting with like Natalie, the head of Women's Techmakers, and meeting all these amazing people, that gives me purpose. And that is better than like a Red Bull, which I do drink, but
Love is the great motivator.
yeah, it's just purpose. Like I'm not going to lie. Like most of the time I'm tired, I'm exhausted. Like I have makeup on because I don't want people to see my bags under my eyes. But it's almost like I'm willing to kind of give that because it makes me feel like I'm contributing to something, to like a greater good. Mm-hmm. So, not too much sleep, a supportive husband. I don't have much family around me. It's just really my husband and I. So we try to like do what we can. Sometimes kids miss school because like I have an early meeting or something. Saturdays, they're like, where are you going? And I'm like, now they're like, are you going to a conference or to work? And I'm like, and my 4-year-old, and I'm like, I'm going to a conference. She's like, okay, I see you later, But it's also for my girls and my son to see that there's more than fitting into this little box and having to do this routine. There's more. You can break out of that. So that's what drives me, but it's not easy, right? So.
Can I take a stab at that as well? So for me, I think that, so first of all, let me preface this by saying I'm not a parent. I don't have kids. I don't understand how Christina's and I don't understand how that works. So much respect for all the work that you do. I have a husband. He's generally self-sufficient. That's all I have to deal with. So I'll preface it with that. But having said that, for me, there was a big kind of mindset shift that I had a couple months ago where I stopped saying I don't have time for it, and I started saying this isn't important enough. And so for me, it wasn't about how many hours do I have in a day. It was about, is this thing important enough to fit into my limited time? And so I started cutting out a lot of activities. I hate cooking. I just don't know, not me. I tried the Blue Apron thing once.
She cooks really good, though.
That one time just for you, but otherwise, my husband doesn't even get that. And so for me, I do meal prep. I spend 1 to 2 hours a week. I organize all my meals. I have my lunch. I have my little oatmeal in a little plastic bag and my berries in another bag. And I will not give more than 2 hours a week on cooking. I just won't do it. It's not worth my time, right? Sorry. Even things like, going out, like I try to prioritize and reprioritize. Every single day I have a very long to-do list and I reprioritize that to-do list. I rewrite it every single day. I have a notebook full of each day. And I break it down into these are the things that really need to get done today and will have a huge impact on the goals that I want to meet. And then these are the things that are easy to do, that are quick to do, but aren't actually that impactful. And for me, when I was able to split those two lists and really focus on the things that might take 4 hours but will get me much further compared to responding to a bunch of emails that will make other people happy but aren't really reaching my goals, when I was able to focus on that big list, that really, really helped me be a lot more productive.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I want to get through a lot of the questions as well. So so one question over here.
Hi. Oh, that's very loud. Stand back, and I'm already loud enough. Hi. I really can't speak enough about how much I just love wonderful women coming together and banding together. It's one of the biggest things that I support in the community at large, and inclusion and diversity. One of the things I want to do, especially because you talk so much about it because it was wonderful, but the photos, like how can we contribute to that? Because if you can't see it, you can't be it, and I'm a big believer in that. And I don't want, my nieces and like to think they're weird because they're like I'm sending them a computer. You're gonna learn to code. They're like, what? Like I want them to be like, oh no, like there's like 1,000 pictures online. It's fine. Just do it. How can we be part of that? How can we help that message? Is there a way that we can upload things? Because I run a program for it, and I know many other women who run women-led programs that are just, let's help, let's get this out there. And I think you're right, like photos are so powerful in that respect.
That might be a white elephant opportunity, actually.
I'd love to help out. I've got a camera.
So we can definitely talk after this, but I've been thinking about ways to make it more, because it was like a 3-series initiative. So we've completed the series and we have 2 new batches of photos that will be uploaded. But I've heard this before, so they're open source. So by the way, the photos are 100% free on a Creative Commons attribution license. You just have to give us a little mini shout out. But they're free. Anybody can use them. Any company, we don't charge. The goal was never to make money on the photos, right? So I have to think about that, because maybe this can be something a little bit bigger than what it is.
If you're at Civic Hall ever, I'll just grab you.
Or you can find her, because she can find me too. She's at Civic Hall. So
Yeah. Thank you. And I have an idea too. So we should talk about. Hi.
How you
welcome.
doing? I'm Christina. I'm from Morgan Stanley. I'm not actually a coder. I actually do stuff with physical security. So I deal with hardware and software and people.
Christine, don't snitch on me.
I promise.
I didn't put this through OBI. Don't snitch on me.
I promise. We are all in this together. What happens here stays here. So I had my own white elephant experience to get into my career. I had the flu. My boss at the time was a jackass. We didn't have insurance that we were being paid for. I was 19 years old, and I was basically lambasted for being sick for 2 days. So went back to my desk. I wrote I quit on a piece of paper, stuck a pen in the wall. Out the door I went. I was working for a cruise travel agency. It was nothing to do with where I was. And I took the opportunity. I said, gee, I have bills to pay. I've got a car payment due like in 3 days. And don't know that waitressing is going to get that to me that weekend. So that Monday, I found myself in a temp job for 1 day, which turned into my career. So I found myself in a situation where I didn't know where I was headed, and found opportunities while there. I was working for AT&T, and the management team there found ways to. They saw, I guess, a spark that I was interested in learning. So it turned into the career I have today. So today I'm interested in obviously also creating white elephant opportunities for women in tech and also in the physical security industry. Similar to the technology role, in physical security, a lot of it is retired police, retired government officials, which is very heavy in the men's side of the world. So when you find yourself talking to security folks, probably even here at Google, many of them are going to be men, especially in the leadership role. So I'm lucky in the opportunity that I have. I'm a director. So I have several women that work for me. One of them has moved on, and she actually had an opportunity in another company, and I was very excited for her. So the thing I struggle with now is how to not only create and represent opportunities for them to learn about technology, but to show them that they can trust that this is something that's going to continue forward, because there's a lot of times there's still that fear and that stigma that I'm sure we all experience. You know, what is the statistic? It's like 1 woman to 4 in the industry, and it's hard to sometimes still perpetuate the message. And I'm going to be 40 soon, and I find that while I'm ready and able to move forward, it's hard sometimes to excite some of the younger folks to still take that step, you know, to enlighten them and incite them that there is a future here and it's exciting. Do any of you guys have situations in your past that would help to find the path to take those first steps? I mean, you all talked very excitedly about what you're doing today and how you kind of got there. But what's like the first memory for you that made you say, gee, like this is something I'm doing that's different and it does have purpose, and I'm gonna do something someday with photos and be very exciting. But how do you instill that excitement to have women come along to trust?
And I'm just going to butt in here as well, is that this is going to have to be the last question, but all of us will be around the whole entire day, so please find us, ask us anything that you want, and I apologize that we can't get to everyone, but we got to keep to time as well. So any person wants to ask that question?
Yeah, I'd love to answer that one. So one of my first memories of being the person who wasn't really sure what I wanted to do and was kind of afraid of taking the first steps and having someone encourage me. Her name is Vanessa Hurst. If you all don't know who she is, she started Girl Develop It. Absolutely amazing. Like one of my biggest heroes, really important mentor, really important person in my life. And she had a meetup, and she said, let's all come together and let's all talk about conference talks. And let's talk about what topics you might want to propose for a future conference. And I said, sure, great. No idea what to expect. Let's go do this. And it ended up being me, her, and just one other person. And we were sitting at a table, and I think at that point I was a month out of my programming boot camp, just learned how to code. I think I just started a job at that point, felt totally unqualified to speak to anyone about anything related to tech. And I pitched this idea about a reading code group that my friends and I did for every Saturday for 1 hour we got together and read code as a way of developing our programming skills. And I pitched it to her, and I thought it was a terrible idea. I thought like no one would ever be interested in hearing about this. And she said, no, you should definitely do it. And I said, okay, well, if Vanessa Hurst thinks it's good, then maybe there's some value. And I said, but do you think I should, shop it around at meetups and kind of smaller places first before pitching it to, this was for RailsConf, so it was, the big conference. And she looked at me and she goes, I don't believe in stepping stones. And I was like, oh my God. And that has been my motto ever since. It's been, okay, do I want to do this or do I want to try this other thing first? And then I hear Vanessa's voice go, I don't believe in stepping stones. And I go for the big thing. That was the first talk I proposed, and I got accepted. And I've given that talk about 10 to 12 times all over the world since then in the last 2 years. And I've gotten paid to give that talk. And so it's been a huge, huge, moment for me in my career. And so what I've learned from that is to be that voice for other people. And so a lot of times I'll hear someone tell a story and I'll go, that'd be a really good conference talk. And I'll say to them, hey, did you ever think about pitching that and submitting a CFP? And they'll go, no, I don't really think it's good enough, and I haven't really done that long. And I'll yell at them. I really will. And I'll pull them aside and I'll go, no, that is amazing. And I'll give them facts, right? And that's the thing. I think that people don't really appreciate their own skills until they hear someone else say it. And so I'll say, no, you've been doing this for 3 years. You have a very interesting story. We need voices like you. And I give them a pitch of how you would structure the story and kind of give them something to work with. And I'll say, submit it, if you want, I'm happy to review it, and I'll pester them until they do. Christina knows. I've sent text messages late at night. I'll do whatever I need to do. And eventually they do it, and then they get picked, and they come back to me, and they go, I never would have taken that step if you hadn't pushed. So I'm very comfortable being the mama bear of the situation. I'm very comfortable pushing you if I believe in you. And I think that for a lot of women and men that I've helped, it's been me being that very persistent voice saying, you are good enough, and you do know what you're talking about. And the worst case scenario is they'll say no, and you're in the exact same situation you'd be in if you hadn't applied. So what's the worst that can happen? And I think being that has been really helpful.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. And we probably have lunches here, so we're gonna serve. Yeah, go ahead, Claudia. So we have a final round of final advice that you want to leave everyone with. So do you want to start, Saron?
I'll start, sure.
Yeah.
So the biggest advice that I have, so I gave a talk at EllaConf in Philly a couple months ago, and the talk was titled Punching Your Feelings in the Face. And the talk is about how I feel like a lot of people, and I see this more with women, but I'll say, I think everyone feels this way at some point. We wait until we feel good to do something, right? We wait until we feel comfortable. We wait until we feel like things are just right. We just wait, expecting the feeling to come and have all these good feelings come before we actually take that step. And a huge, huge thing in my career has been being afraid, being terrified, being absolutely feeling totally unqualified to apply for that job or to be on this panel or to do whatever it is, but doing it anyway. Feeling good and feeling comfortable is not a prerequisite for action. And so the biggest advice I have for you is if you're afraid, that's okay. You can be afraid and click submit. You can. So please take action and don't let your feelings hold you back.
Thank you.
I want to reiterate everything that has been said at this point. I feel like I don't have anything novel to contribute to this advice because everything that Heather has said in her White Elephant talk, everything that Saron just shared about being afraid and feeling like you're not good enough to be on this panel. Some people felt like that coming up here. But there really is nothing to lose, and that's true. What is the worst case scenario? Sometimes it doesn't help to think about that, but honestly, if the worst case scenario of someone telling you no, or you're not going to get the job, or you're not going to do that, you are still yourself, and you still have those skills. You can still try again, and definitely, if you are in a position where you can support other people, do that as much as humanly possible. Do that hiring or having more inclusive panels or more inclusive teams, that's really important. The woman who just asked the question, she's a director, she has people underneath her, she's in that position where you can support your other women that you're working with, but you can also have very frank conversations with people who are a detriment to those women as well. So don't be afraid to extend the conversation past these wonderful people in this room. Share that with everyone. I think that's the biggest thing I have to contribute.
Thank you.
So one of the quotes that stayed with me for a while from an author I like called John Acuff, Jonacuff. He writes really great inspirational books and on getting started, on just getting things done, and really it's really stuck with me is along the same lines of having imposter syndrome or kind of getting caught up of how do I get there?
I quote her all the time.
My favorite quote, our favorite quote, is don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle, because it's very easy to do that and very easy to, I've been doing the nonprofit thing on the side for 4 years now, and it's been a long journey, and it starts somewhere, and it starts with that small spark of whatever it is you're passionate about, and it doesn't have to be teaching kids to code. It doesn't have to be, this big grand gesture of changing the world, but knowing that what you're doing, however small it is, makes a difference.
I love that quote so much. Oh my God. Okay, so that quote, right? Plus, just remember that anger activates. So just remember that, right? Anger activates, but use it in a positive way, right? So anger activates positively, and number 2 is, don't follow the crowd. If everyone is learning to code, and if you don't like code, don't learn to code. Like, it's fine. Like, it's okay. Learn something else. I mean, the tech ecosystem is huge, and there's so many different positions that people don't talk about. And I think it's important to, get out there. If you don't want to go to a meetup, fine. Go on Twitter. Like, read up on things. Meet people that are in different, like, QA analysts or information security architects. There's so many positions out there that don't necessarily involve code. And although I always support people that want to learn another language, because it's kind of like another language, right? I'm very big on I'm a lover of education and learning, whether it's like self-taught or whatever. So I think that just don't follow the crowd and just do you, right? Just remember to do you. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't compare yourself, and don't give yourself this stress for no reason. Like, just follow your own path, create your own path. And I think that's the most important thing.
So I say that all the time. I tell my kids, you do you. Don't worry about what's going on. And incidentally, my background and my expertise is in infrastructure. So while all the apps are being made, just know that their infrastructure needs to happen to support that as well. But remember, the theme of today is our time to lead. And you have to trust yourself. Let's start with that. Trust yourself. You're here for a reason. You're present in this industry for a reason. Right, so take that to heart and go out and lead. And we appreciate it. And thank you so much for your time today.